Greetings, it's Ian from RTO here. Welcome to a Marathon Wednesday, and we've got a two-parter because we have got a viewer's request and we've been asked to do Fela Kuti. So we're going to split it into two because there are so many albums. Now before we start, I've gone with 38, but if I have missed any, because there are so many, if you'd put it in the comments below and I will do another Fela Kuti video at some stage. I didn't, because the trouble with Fela Kuti is that some of them are EPs, some of them are albums, some are long singles. So I'm not quite sure. I had great fun doing this, I must admit, because all I knew about Fela Kuti, he was a political activist, and you know the history, he went to jail and etc etc. I know about that, but I didn't know much about his music, but now I am hooked. So if I've missed some out, please let me know and I will put another video together. As I'm new to Fela Kuti's music, if I don't agree with you, I do apologise, but I am really discovering this. I may do a tier ranking of this a bit later on, so once I've really got into them, some could move. So I do apologise for that. Also, I'm going to say there may be some album titles with some words that you shouldn't, that are not politically correct either. So, but then you got to remember these were written in different times. Okay. Fela Acapulco Kuti was born Ufela Ulguson Altadon Ranzi Kuti on the 15th of October 1938. So we've just missed his heavenly birthday. Sadly died in 1997. We know him for his political views, but he was also a fantastic musician, and he combined jazz with American funk and West African music and this world music sound. So we've got 38 albums, so we're going to do number 38 to 20 today, and then next week we'll do 19 to 1. So as this is a big one, we better get started. So there's going to be some pronunciations that I'm probably not going to get right. So coming in at number 38 then is an album recorded in 1971, and it's called Na Poi. Most of Fela's albums have got 1-2 tracks on them. So this has got 2, and it's got part 1, Na Poi. I like this. You get this sort of chat, and then this nice slow percussion comes in, and there's more spoken word on this than singing. It's got a nice little rhythm to it, and then you get part 2. It's sort of it's a continuation of part 1, but I think this is a bit more richer than part 1. It's got extra layers of sound. It's really good. I do like it, don't get me wrong. And then the last track on this one is called You Know Go Die Unless. A variation of that whole album here. It's okay. Of all Fela's albums, this one, I think Na Poi 1 is a little bit boring in places. It sort of goes round. There's nothing different to it. But part 2 and the other track are really good. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 5 out of 10. Okay then, coming in at number 37. Now this is from 1979, and it's called Unknown Soldier. Now basically you get an instrumental version of Unknown Soldier and a vocal. Now at the instrumental is great. You get this sort of samba percussion, some lovely horns on this, It's really groovy. I really like that. It blew me away a bit. Just a fantastic song. And then when you get the vocals on it, what I like about Fela's singing, he sings along and you get a response by the backing vocals. It's a really not that there's two or three of them and the harmonising of it. It's such rich, and you can imagine them all swinging and dancing to this. It's really, really enjoyable again. You know, I had fun with this. I like this. I really do. But when you've got 38 to go through, it's hard. So I'm going to give this one an RTO ranking of 5.2. Okay, then coming in at number 36. This is from 1980 and it's called Authority Stealing. Now, this is basically one song. It's just called Authority Stealing. It's 24 minutes long. The start of this has got some really nice piano. Horns come in, and that's what I like about this music. The horns. It's got that swing to it. There's little bits of guitar in it. It's a bit of a big band, and then when you get that wonderful tone of vocal that Fela used, and then you get the responses. Sometimes you don't know what he's saying, but you just get into the groove of it. And what I like about this, although it's just the one track, 24 minutes goes so quick because there's lots going on. It flows lovely. It's just a fantastic piece of music again. I really enjoyed this. So I'm going to give this one an RTO ranking of 5.3. Okay then, coming in at number 35, we go to the year 1976. And an album or EP, whatever, called Excuse O. 2 tracks on this, first one being Excuse O. Now, one thing Fela was good at was playing a saxophone. And the saxophone on this is... It's not playing the same tune as the rest of the band, but it seems to work and fit in. Although in places it does go off on some tangent and you go, oh, come back, and it does come back. Again, it's a very good track. I just love the sort of swinging percussion on it. It really gets your feet tapping. Okay, then the last track on here, I've got to get this right because it all... So I'm going to read this. So it's Mr. Grammar Articulationism. Yeah, I put it up on screen. That's a mouthful, isn't it? He's the boss. I think this is a better track than Excuso. It's just a really good groove into it. It's sort of a question. It's like when the vocals, it's all very question and answer. I like the style of that. That's really good. I find some of it a little bit disjointed on Excuso. But the second track is great. So I'm going to give this one an RTO ranking of 5.5. Okay, coming in at number 34. This is from 1977, and it's Sorrow, Tears and Blood. Opens up with Sorrow, Tears and Blood. Now, I've not mentioned who plays on these albums because there are so many people. It'd take us 10 minutes just to go through everyone that contributed. So it's just easy to go through the albums. And there's so many. This is why we're doing like this. Now, I like this track. It's a great vocal from Fela Kuti. How does he do this without losing a breath? It's just an unusual way of singing, but boy is it good. And I love, there's some little triangles in here as well. You get these little dings. Really, really good. Again. And then we get Colonial Mentality. Starts off with some great drumming and this real funky bass line. And then Fela starts playing on the saxophone. It's absolutely brilliant. The rest of the horns come in. Just another really strong track. 20 little album. At the end of the day, these are just good tracks. I've not listened to one bad Fela Kuti album or EP. I really haven't. I just prefer some to more, others than more. This is solid 23 minutes of absolutely quality jazz, soul music. Terrific stuff. So I'm going to give this one an RTO ranking of 5.6. Okay then, coming in at number 33 is another album from 1976, and it's called Iko Blindness. And the first track is the title track called Iko Blindness. The start of this, it sounds like everyone's doing their own thing, but all of a sudden it starts to come in and work. So it starts off all disjointed. I don't know if it's done on purpose, but everything seems to just come in, and towards the end it all comes together. Interesting track. Now here's one of these tracks that I'm going to put the title is up on screen, because I don't know, it's Gab Me Leti Ki Nadalawo. But that's what it's said. And I love the bass line in this. And I love the sort of the sounds in here. Some very nice sounds on there. But it did get a bit repetitive. A little bit. But on the whole, it's still good. As I said, but on this album or EP, it's a bit repetitive in places. And for the first time ever, I couldn't justify. I'm going to give it this one's getting a 5.6 as well. Because out of this and the Sorrow, Tears and Blood, I prefer this one a tad, but not enough to give it in my marking system to give it a 5.7. So I'm going to give this one again a 5.6. Okay, then coming in at number 32, this is from 1973 and it's called Aphrodisiac. First track on this one is called Alu John Junkie John. It's certainly got that early 1970 field music. It could have been, it's got that sound that could have appeared in one of the American cop shows of the time. It's got that sort of feel to it. I love all the horns in this one. Really good track. Then we get one called Jean Coco, which means chop and quench. Great track. It's a very short one, 7 minutes. Got a very samba Latino feel to it. I love the vocals in this. It's just great. It's fantastic. Then we get a track called Elko Elk. This is a jazzy sort of thing with that sort of African sound West African sound brought into it. A great vocal from Fela Kuti. You get the responses from the girls as well. It's just a terrific track. Then we have one called Junui Temi, which is Don't Gag Me. Some nice guitars in this one. The percussion's great. Again, it just makes you want to swing with the beat. Very, very good. Now, this is one of the longer albums at 39 minutes. It's got some great grooves. A lot of guitar on this album. That jazz guitar, and it sounds fantastic. So I'm going to give this one an RTO ranking of 5.7. Okay, coming in at number 30 then. This released in 1977 and it is called Zombie. So the first track is Zombie. Some nice combinations, some frenetic guitar playing in it, mixed with some great horns and that really nice vocal from Fela. Great track, I like that one. Then we have Mr. Follow Follow. Again, the saxophone hype dominates this. It gets in a groove, and then you get that towards the end of this track, you get the vocal coming in, and you get that response from the backing vocals. It just like they just play off each other, and I love how they do that. This is terrific. It seems to feel that Fela Kuti songs follow a pattern. Lots of instrumental vocals come in, and the response, and it's just terrific to listen to. Great, some more great songs and grooves on this. I really enjoy listening to these albums, and I'm absolutely hooked on this guy now. So I'm going to give this one an RTO ranking of 5.9. Okay, coming in at number 29, this is from 1974, and it's called Alagbon Close. First track is the title track. This is one of the gentler tracks that he done. Some really nice steady percussion. A little bit of keyboard come into this one. The bass has little twinks of guitar in it. It just builds up, and then you get the vocals and the responses. It's like a prog song. Starts gentle, builds up, and builds up. It's a terrific song. Then we get I Know Get I for Black. Now, start again, Ian. I Know Get I for Back. Strange title. It is, and it's a strange track. You've got this keyboard that seems to be off key a little bit from everything else, but it doesn't spoil it. You've got some really nice guitar tones on this one, and it's got this real funky guitar, and I love it. Again, very solid. I do like the keyboards on this one. Very, very good. So I'm going to give this one an RTO ranking of 6 out of 10. Okay, then coming in at number 28. This is from 1980, and it's Teacher Don't Teach Me Nonsense. Now, this is Fela Kuti and the Egypt 80. So you got the title track, which is Teacher Don't Teach Me Nonsense. Now this is music that didn't succumb to the 80s feel, which is great. There's nothing, you wouldn't think this was done in the 80s. There's none of that smoothness. The saxophone is good. It's singing, the saxophone on this, and I love the guitar tones on that track. It is a great little track again. Then we get a track called Look and Laugh. It's very laid back. Some lovely smooth horns and sounds. And then you get this real great beat to it as well. Really, really strong. Again, this is a really good album, and I can't believe I had to put it at number 28. I think this is really good, and at least the music is pretty consistent from Fela Kuti. And so I'm going to give this one an RTO ranking of 6.1. Okay, coming in at number 27 then. This is from 1981, and it's Original Sufferhead. First track is the title track, Original Sufferhead. Really good start, some nice percussion on this. The crisp guitar sound is really good. The horns come in, great bass line. There's one thing about these Fela Kuti albums, the bass line. It's always funky and groovy. It's only one way to describe it. Then we get Power Show. I just love the jazz guitar on this. I love jazz guitar. I think it's a really fantastic sound. Then the horns come in again. Another solid track. A great little album. The guitar, some lovely tones on the guitar. The horns sound fantastic. Solid as you like. So I'm going to give this one an RTO ranking of 6.2. Okay then, coming in at number 26, we have an album called ITT, which means International Thief from 1980. Again, this is just one track all the way through, and although it's split into two, it just runs. The two different tracks just rolled into one. The first part is got some vocal. We've got Fela and the girls doing that response thing with a great bass line that sort of follows Fela's vocals. Really good. And then the second bit, we get all this little bit of chatter and responses. It's really interesting. It's probably one of the most interesting tracks in the catalogue for me. What I like about this one, and a lot of, and the fact I've noticed this, each album takes a theme of a samba, or that percussion always goes through the whole of the album. And this is one track that's got different variations. It works really well, and I think this is a good album for a number 26, and I'm going to give this one an RTO ranking of 6.4. Okay, then coming in at number 25, it's 1975 and Confusion. Now this is Fela Kuti and his Africa 70 band. This album is about African heritage and nationalism in his music. So the first track is Confusion Part 1. One of the most dramatic starts to a Fela Kuti album. The keyboards is quite eerie and sort of builds up. And then you get this sort of jazz odyssey. The drumming on this is superb. It is absolutely... You put this on under the headphones and you can... Whoever drums on this was going around that kit with such ease, but it was intricate. Very, very good track. Great bass line as ever. And then we get part 2. Very progressive. More progressive rock. There's more keyboard in this. Instead of guitar solos, you get like horns. And then that bass line is proper progressive rock bass line. It's a great album. This is one of the most diverse in music. It's got elements of prog and psychedelia and jazz. So I'm going to give this one an RTO ranking of 6.5. Okay, then coming in at number 24, this is quite late on, 1989, and it's credited to Fela Kuti and the band Egypt 80. It's called Beasts of No Nation. This is one of these one-track things. Really, really good. It's got a bit of prog in there. Some love. I won't remember the prog. It does that slowed down, and then it starts up again. It's just one of them things. The singing's great on here. The responses. Fellas it sounds really strong on here. The girls are sounding good, and I like how it just comes to this huge crescendo at the end. This is a great track. It just flows, and it sounds like 3 tracks because there is like a natural break in the tracks, but it's all one. It's about 30 minutes of music. It's terrific. And I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 6.6. Number 23 then. This is from 1975. And it's Everything Scatter. There's another thing I want to mention about these albums. The album covers are absolutely delightful. Some great covers and paintings. I just love them. The first track on Everything Scatter is Everything Scatter. No elaborate intros, straight in the percussion and the bass. It takes a little bit to go in. It goes on for a little while, just that bass and percussion. But when it does come in, the saxophone, and it really does lighten the track up. Then we got Who No, Go No. Some great drumming on this, and the keyboard is great. It's got that real samba feel to it. Another really solid track. Again, Fela Kuti never fails to deliver good music. Some great saxophone playing through the whole of this. So I'm going to give this one an RTO ranking of 6.7. Okay then, coming in at number 22. This is from 1971. And it's called Shakara. First track is called Lady. The keyboards in this are so 1960s. It's a really psychedelia sort of keyboard sound. I like Fela's great vocals on thing. I think he's got a great voice. And he's always has some great backing vocals. Then we get the track itself, Shakara. Very funky, a great bass line. The keyboards are really good. And an interesting vocal from Fela this time. And then halfway through it you get this beat and bongos, and I love this. And under the headphones then bongos sound terrific. I definitely think this is one of the funkiest tracks in the catalogue. Very funky this one. It's quite a funky album. Near enough on disco in places. But I think it is just... It was different and it worked for me. And I'm going to give that an RTO ranking of 6.8. Okay, coming in at number 21. This one's from 1977 and it is called Stalemate. So the first track is Stalemate. Again, we've got a great opening bass line that sort of takes the track into all sorts of angles and tangents. The keyboards helps as well, with little stabs all over the place. Once Fela starts singing, he sort of does it round that bass line. The backing vocals, the response is like the keyboard. So you've got this, you get vocal, keyboard, and it seems to respond very, very clever. Very, very clever. And then we get Don't Worry About My Mouth. Really good jazz sort of track here. Lots of trumpets. The drumming's that good. Great bass drum and the thing. One of my favourite pieces of music by Fela Kuti. It's just that groove. We got some lovely keyboards in it. Fantastic track. Another good album. Good horns. Great singing. A fun album. An album you can put on at a party and when people had a few drinks and they'll get up and dance to this. I think. I hope they would. So I'm going to give this one an RTO ranking of 6.9. Okay, our last album for today is an album that he made in 1980 with a chap called Ron Ayers, and it's called Music of Many Colours. The first track is called 2000 Blacks Have Got to Be Free. I said this was going to be a bit... This is a very political album. Very, very powerful words in this and very politically motivated. I like the vibraphone on this. I've got some vibraphone. Absolutely brilliant. Then it changes halfway through into this disco groove. It really flows. Then we get a track called Africa Centre of the World. Now this song actually is celebrating African culture. Again, it's very good. Some lovely vibraphone tones. I love the vocals on this. It's very world music. It's got a really good beat. Great track. Really is good. This is a really good album. This album actually nearly crept into next week's show, but for me it deserves to be top of part one. It's just okay. It's politically driven, but the music is so powerful. Okay, I'm not into political songs, but there's just something about the music on here. It drives you, and it sort of distracts you from a little bit from the words, although they are very powerful words on this track. So I'm going to give this one an RTO ranking of 7 out of 10. So there we go, folks. There's part 1. We'll do part 2 next Wednesday, where we're going to look from number 19 up to my favourite Fela Kuti album. But just because these ones in the bottom half, I don't dislike them. I like all these albums. I think they are terrific. And I am so glad that I am now a big fan of Fela Kuti. You know, ignorance, I don't know, but I always saw him as this activist, but his music is very strong, and I hope it continues to grow even though he's no longer with us. Okay, that's all for today. Tomorrow is Battle Royal Day, and what we got for you tomorrow? Well, we've got Sandista from The Clash, from Turn Its Return, against Ricefield Records, known to us as Michael from Japan, and he's gone for Foxtrot and Genesis, 2 strong albums from different genres. Could it be a close one? And also tomorrow we are going to take a trip. No, we're not. We're going to have a wander down the sidewalk tomorrow, and we're going to look at the American Top 10 singles on the 19th of October in the year of 1963. And don't forget, tomorrow is also live stream day. So have a great day, everybody, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.